If you're the type of person like me that believes that the type of energy you put out in the world reflects that at which you get back, we've got a really special treat for you today. We're going to be talking with one of the most exciting guys that I know. We're lucky to have him in our neighborhood. He just makes me want to think bigger, do more, accomplish more things. Today we're going to be talking with Dr. Eric Richards. Dr. Eric owns several chiropractic care practices in our area, CrossFit gyms. He was the beginner and starter founder of the Garage Games. He's involved with commercial real estate development and investments, and he's started up numerous other endeavors and organizations. After which we're going to do a little workout, which I did look at earlier this morning, and I may die. So hopefully he'll go easy on me. Let's go check it out. So Dr. Eric, thank you so much for spending time with us today. You know, I think you bring so much to our community, and we've talked about this before. You're also kind of a follower of Dr. John C. Maxwell.
Yes.
And one of the things that Dr. Maxwell says in the 21 irrefutable laws of leadership is, I think it's law number 9, it's the law of magnetism. You know, that you don't attract that what you want, you attract that of what you are. And then you just embody that. You kind of encapsulate kind of the law of magnetism, kind of things that you brought into your life. So I want to know something from you today. All the things that you've accomplished, your achievements, how have you maintained that law, like a law of magnetism, the person that you become to attract those things in your world, and how do you maintain it?
Good questions. Those are real good questions. So I think the thing to get is that it doesn't necessarily start intentional. You know, at least for me, it didn't start intentional, but it very quickly became intentional.
Okay.
And so I witnessed the same kind of principle that was, you know, it really, like you said, a John Maxwell principle that I saw being lived out, and it was the same magnetism. And I felt as though, you know, that's something I wanted to embody. And I first saw it, or I paid attention to it in Andy Stanley. So North Point Church, 2002. I go over for the first time, and I'm kind of blown away by his communication skills. But it's not just, he's not just talking, right? It's not just communication. He's just pulling you in through relevance. And by the second time I was there, I identified that and said, you know, this is something that I really want to intentionally pursue, is being able to take whatever is in me that's passionate in me, and be sure that I can communicate that passion in a way that stirs people up. Because that's what I felt. I felt like he was passionate. You know, it's not like he's just going through the motions.
Right.
Every single thing that he's teaching you, he's been looking for that precise moment in time when the right word, the right comment, you know, is going to just lay into you, speak to your heart, and change you.
And from what I've noticed with that, Andy, is that there's a preparedness that goes along with that. He's super prepared, super precise. How do you prepare yourself to do the same thing?
So that's funny. So over the years, so in my chiropractic practice, I'm a training professor for Life University. So I've got interns coming through, and then over time, I've heard interns speak about me, and I thought, oh, that's interesting. And what I've heard them say when asked, well, what is the thing about Dr. Eric that was so, you know, beneficial to you to be there? And they say, you know, he has a good answer for everything. And I think, well, that's funny, because that also is intentional. The preparedness is, you know, to identify, what am I walking into? What is the purpose of this thing I'm going into? And what are the obstacles I'm going to face when I'm in this? And then just preparing all of those obstacles. So I would say that, you know, I'm a fan of looking at every possible objection that's going to run into my goals. Everything, whether it be from a person or the world, something getting in the way, and then practicing and speaking to every one of those situations over and over and over and over again. And I think, honestly, what that does is it builds congruence. So now, who I am here in front of this camera is who I am at home with my wife, is who I am with my kids, it's who I am no matter what. When I go to sleep and I wake up in the morning and I pray, it's the same person every single time. It's never going to change, because I built that congruence over 20 years of just practicing.
Now, congruence, there seems like there has to be some sort of discipline or purpose-driven thought that has to stay behind that. I mean, surely not every thought that comes to your head is always positive or always. So is there any other practice daily that you kind of have to commit to?
Yeah, I mean, I think right back where I just was a second ago, talking about that first thing in the morning. The morning ritual to me is a huge thing. So for years I've been doing this, where I get up and the first thing that comes out of, or into my head, not out of my mouth, but into my head, is thank you. And I start with that because, of course, at times, especially when we're in the world of building big things,
Yep.
and in the development world, it's like, wow, it's going great, and then, oh my goodness, it's so huge going wrong, right? And that can happen, and that's a big world, and it can feel like, oh, I can't overcome this.
Yeah.
So what I found is by starting, the first thought out of my head is thank you God for, and then thank you God for, and in that, very specifically, one of my rituals is to take the thing that's the worst thing in my life right now and be thankful for that. And it's
tough to do.
It is, but how many times have we been in a place in life that we thought this is going to kill me, and then we go 2 years out, 1 year, 4 years, 5, I don't know, whatever it is, and we look back and say, wow, that shaped me.
Right.
It didn't kill me, it
it's
shaped me.
building
And so
stone.
to be reminded of the fact that that's happened repeatedly in my life, so it surely must be happening again right now, is a great way. So that way, by the time you're done with 50 thank yous, what is there in the world that could be a problem?
That's a mic drop. I mean, that is awesome.
We're out.
We're out. Cut it. So what I've heard is, number one, you found somebody that kind of inspired you, and then you found that they actually had a process that they went through to communicate. You wanted to communicate to the world. You started instilling those daily habits, starting with gratitude. Dude, man, I appreciate you being here with us today.
Absolutely. I'm
Thanks.
grateful to be here. Absolutely.
All right.